language changes with the sensibility of the people. So, in semantic barrier, since language is growing and it is arbitrary in the sense that there is no relation between the object and the word it represents in language, lot many misconcepts could arise, or lot many issues could arise between two people communicating, because it can happen that that word which has been uttered by someone means something else to that other person, and therefore miscommunication could take place. In addition to this, we should also keep in mind that age, education, person's mindset, and lot many aspects play a vital role in communication. A fifth standard student may not be able to understand certain concepts because he is not grown up enough. Or say, for example, a person who is a digital refugee, in the sense that who does not know anything about technology, might not be able to grapple or be able to deal with different aspects related to technology, because that person does not have any idea of it. So such barriers which arise because of lack of meaning or lack of sense of meaning precisely could be categorized as semantic barriers. So these barriers arise. Physical barriers were external barriers. Semantic barriers are those arising in individuals. So this is the basic difference which you need to keep in mind about semantic barriers and physical barriers. Now moving to the linguistic barriers. While linguistic barriers are those arising out of lack of command or ignorance about the language used in communication process. Take for example, students might not be having command over language. They might have studied in the vernacular medium and they have now switched to English medium. Because they have switched to English medium and they do not have proper command over the language, they are not fluent in English, they might not be able to understand certain concepts taught by the teacher. This has happened because they do not have the vocabulary for it, they do not have the sense of grammar for it, and they do not have a command over the idioms and phrases of that particular language. So linguistic barriers can also lead to miscommunication and can also cause hindrance in communication if they are not eliminated appropriately. Now, if you wish to eliminate these linguistic barriers, you simply need to keep in mind the aspect that language has to be practiced. It's a skill. And if you practice language, if you speak it, the speaker of the language, whatever it may be, English or any other language, is the owner of the language. So if you speak the language, if you read, if you interact, you listen to it and you write, you are probably going to have more command over language. And if you don't practice your skills, then you might not have command over it. Therefore, linguistic barrier can prove to be a hindrance in communication, and it can easily be eliminated by practice and by persistent practice. Yes. Take this example. I am going to utter a word. I am going to sort of utter a sentence in French. Let me see if you can understand. Je voudrais information s'il vous plaît. Now, this is in French, and I don't think you might be able to grasp what I have said. Why? Because you don't have command over the language. In the same way, if you don't know English, you might not be able to understand what is said in English. A word, a simple word hi, can be said in a number of ways in different languages. So if you don't have the command over language, you cannot understand, and that can also prove to be a barrier. So whichever language you learn, try to see to it that you practice it thoroughly and you understand the nuances of that language. Just knowing a bunch of words might not be able to sort of get you through life. You need to know the intricacies of that language, the idioms, the pattern in which it works, the sentence structure, because all play an important role in the passage of meaning from one individual to another. These are the examples of the different ways in which a word, just a simple word, hi, is said. In French, it is said salut, and in Spanish, hola, and in Chinese, we have another way of saying it. So, to learn a language takes time, and if you don't learn it, then you might be a victim, or you might become a victim of linguistic barriers. How are these barriers categorized? Let us have a look at that. Misinterpretation of words. The words that an individual utters can be misinterpreted. They can be misquoted, and this can prove to be a barrier in communication. So if you don't want to be misinterpreted, if you want to be understood thoroughly, and you want to pass the message in totality, you need to have command over language. You need to master language. You need to use it. You need to speak it on a daily basis. Use it, write it, and then only you can have command over language, so that you might not misinterpret the words, whether you're saying it, you're telling to someone else, or you're listening to someone who is saying those words. So if you want your communication to be effective, then you need to use your language skills to the optimum, to enhance them, to sharpen them, and to see to it that they take you to the next level. They improve your communication, and they might also prove to be a key to your success. Okay, this is the continuation of the misinterpretation of words. A knowledge of the right context or reference can help one understand the words better and use them effortlessly in the correct context. So a knowledge of words is required. At the same time, the context in which it is used should also be kept in mind. So both have to go hand in hand if you wish to eliminate the linguistic barriers. Okay, now we come to the one of the most important aspects of linguistic barriers, and that is technical language. Now, each profession, each career, each specialization has its own branch of words, has its own terminology, has its own jargons. If you are a lawyer, then you need to have a knowledge of the words that are commonly used during the framing of legal documents or during the proceedings of the court. If you are a doctor, you need to have a command of the vocabulary which is commonly used during your practice. If you're an engineer, then there are many words which you need to keep in mind, which are technical. Now, if you don't have command over the technical words, if you don't have command over the sort of the phrases that are used in your profession, then during a discussion, or if you're writing to someone, you might not be able to pass the message effectively because you don't have the words to pass it. At the same time, if you're attending a meeting and someone is talking and someone uses that specific word, then probably you also might not be able to understand that word. So this aspect of sort of lack of knowledge of the technical words can prove to be a barrier in your communication, especially in the professional world. So if you wish to eliminate this barrier, then you need to have a thorough knowledge of all the words associated in your field of study, of all the words that are commonly used in your branch, in your profession. Else you might be not be able to communicate as effectively as someone else who has that command, who has the technical knowledge. For effective communication, a professional has to be aware of field specific words and their meanings. Now we have a look at the idioms and phrases and how they work in communication. Now each language has its own stock of idioms and phrases. The context in which the idioms are used varies from situation to situation. An idiom is always rooted in social and cultural context. It cannot exist all by itself. Now this is one important point that we are making here, that in any setup, each language is different and each language is rooted in culture and society. Language exists because of human beings, and human beings exist in the form of society. Each society functions in a different manner, interprets things in different ways, and has different experiences. On these experiences are based idioms and phrases. If you don't know the idioms and phrases of that particular language, then you might not be able to understand the point that has been made by saying them or using them. So that could also prove to be a linguistic barrier. If you know the idioms and phrases, you can interpret them and you can understand the meaning. Take for example the phrase pouring water over the duck's back. Now if you hear someone saying this, that don't try to say anything to him, because talking to him is like pouring water over a duck's back. Now if you don't know the meaning of this idiom, you might not understand the meaning. If you know the meaning of this idiom, you will be able to understand the meaning. For you can immediately grasp that there is no point in talking to this person, because if you talk to this person, then he is not going to listen to you. It is going to be absolutely useless, because if you pour water on a duck's back, then water does not seep in. It just slides away. And if you talk to that person, he is not going to internalize your message. It's just going to be a waste of time. So in this way, if you know the phrases and idioms, you can understand the message. If you don't know the idioms and phrases, you won't be able to understand the message. Let us just have a look at the different idioms here, and let us see how they can be interpreted. Lot many are there in this example. Two heads are much better than one, or two heads are much better than one could mean that if a person is doing a task all by himself, then if someone else joins that person, then probably the task could be completed in a quick manner, and also it might be completed in a easier way. Or I've been on cloud 9 all day. So if you don't know the meaning of this, then you won't be able to understand. Cloud 9 means I was really happy that something good has happened. I won the gold medal and I was on cloud 9 all day. So such examples of idioms and this knowledge of idioms can in a way boost your effectivity while communicating on both the parts, whether you're a sender or a receiver. If you don't have the proper knowledge, then you won't be able to communicate effectively. We discussed the physical barriers, we discussed the semantic and linguistic barriers. Now we move to personal barriers. Now, personal barriers is one topic of discussion which is a determining factor in communication. And if you don't eliminate personal barriers, probably you will not be able to communicate effectively. Here, personal barriers are those arising out of an individual's thoughts, feelings, emotions, perception and prejudice, etc. Human beings cannot merely think, analyze and decide with intellect alone. All human beings have different sensibilities, they have different mindsets, they have different patterns in which they think and analyze and interpret things. They have different responses. We are not robots, or we are not merely individuals who function on intellect alone. We have thoughts, feelings and emotions attached to all the decisions that we make. In the same way, the messages that we interpret in communication also are influenced by our thoughts, feelings and emotions. They are influenced by how we communicate to others. So let us just have a look at what these personal barriers are. See, we have our beliefs and notions that overshadow our intellect. Our views and experiences influence daily behavior and can at times prove to be a hindrance in the communication process. All of us have our own set of beliefs, and these beliefs are a sort of a culmination of our experiences, of our backgrounds, and they are a unique mix of all the events that have happened in our life and our response to those events.